Imagine opening your banking app tomorrow morning, expecting to see the same balance you've seen for years. But instead, one number changes everything. $650 million. In a single second, every bill you've ever worried about disappears. Every financial fear you've carried since childhood becomes meaningless. You could buy private islands, penthouses overlooking New York City, luxury cars, even companies. You'd never have to work another day for the rest of your life. But here's the part nobody expects. You decide not to tell a single person. Not your family, not your closest friend, not even the person you trust the most. Because deep inside, you understand something that takes most wealthy people years to learn. The moment people discover you're rich, they stop seeing who you are. They start seeing what you have. And from that moment on, nothing in your life will ever feel normal again. That first night is impossible to sleep. You keep unlocking your phone, checking the balance again and again, almost expecting it to disappear. But it doesn't. The money is real. More money than you could spend in several lifetimes. Your mind races with possibilities. Should you buy a mansion? Travel the world? Retire immediately? Then another thought quietly replaces the excitement. If nobody knows, your life stays yours. The next morning, you wear the same clothes you've always worn. You stop at the same coffee shop. You stand in the same line behind people rushing to work. Nothing about you looks different. Yet inside your pocket sits enough wealth to change thousands of lives. And for the first time, you realize something extraordinary. The greatest luxury isn't owning everything. It's having absolutely nothing to prove. Life continues almost exactly as it always has. Every morning, you drive the same reliable car. You greet the same coworkers. You sit through the same meetings. Around the lunch table, everyone talks about promotions, rising prices, life and dreams of becoming exactly as it always has. Some believe money would solve every problem in their lives. You drive the same reliable car. Others assume wealthy people must be happier than everyone else. Around the lunch table, without everyone talks about promotions. They have no idea that the quiet person dreams of becoming rich one day could buy the entire office money would solve without every problem in their lives. But something unexpected wealthy people must be happier caring about impressing anyone. You simply listen watches no longer impress you. They have no idea that the quiet person drinking coffee social media success could buy the entire office building without because when you already have more money unexpected begins to happen. You discover that stop caring about impressing another game people play to watches no longer impress real wealth doesn't need applause. Brands lose it doesn't ask for attention. Social media moves through the world feels strangely empty, confidently, because when you already have more money than you'll ever need, and that's the moment you begin to understand that becoming rich isn't the biggest transformation. Learning to stay invisible is. It doesn't ask for attention. It moves through the world quietly, confidently, and completely unnoticed. And that's the moment you begin to understand that becoming rich isn't the biggest transformation. Learning to stay invisible is. A few weeks later, curiosity leads you into one of the most exclusive luxury car dealerships in the city. The kind of place where people spend years dreaming about owning just one of the cars parked inside. A salesman walks toward you with the same polite smile he gives every visitor, never imagining that you could buy every vehicle in the showroom before lunch. You slowly walk past rows of million-dollar machines, running your hand across polished metal and flawless paint. A few months ago, your heart would have raced. Today, you feel almost nothing. It isn't because the cars aren't beautiful. They are. It's because something inside you has changed. You no longer measure your success by what you can buy. The excitement you expected never arrives. Instead, you quietly thank the salesman, walk back outside, and breathe in the fresh air. In that moment, you realize that having unlimited choices somehow makes chasing expensive things feel far less exciting than you once imagined. The greatest surprise isn't the money. It's how little the world changes around you. Every morning, the barista greets you with the same smile. The cashier still asks if you want your usual coffee. Neighbors wave as they walk their dogs. Children ride bicycles without knowing they're passing someone wealthier than most celebrities. For the first time, you begin to understand something surprisingly comforting. The world isn't watching you nearly as much as you once believed. Most people are busy worrying about their own lives, their own bills, and their own dreams. That realization feels strangely freeing. You stop trying to impress strangers who were never paying attention in the first place. Your confidence no longer comes from expensive possessions. It comes from knowing that your peace doesn't depend on anyone else's opinion. Quietly, without anyone noticing, your life becomes richer in a way that money alone could never create. One evening, You sit above the city, watching millions of lights slowly appear as the sun disappears behind the skyline. Somewhere below, people are working overtime to buy bigger houses, newer cars, and more expensive lifestyles. Months ago, you thought wealth meant reaching the top of that race. Now you finally understand that real wealth begins the moment you stop running altogether. The balance in your bank account is still there, untouched, but something far more valuable has quietly grown inside you. Time, freedom, peace of mind, the ability to wake up without fear, the freedom to walk away from anything that steals your happiness. Those things don't appear on a bank statement, yet they're worth more than every dollar you own. Looking across the city, you smile to yourself because you've discovered a secret that can't be bought, inherited, or borrowed. The richest people aren't always the ones with the biggest fortunes. They're the ones who no longer need the world to know they have 1.1 quiet morning. You leave your phone at home and drive to a place where no one knows your name. Sitting beside a calm lake, you watch the sunrise without checking notifications, emails, or stock prices. For the first time in years, your mind feels completely still. You realize something that sounds almost impossible. After a certain point, more money doesn't create more happiness. It simply creates more options. The option to spend your time however you choose. The option to say no to work that drains your energy. The option to protect your peace instead of constantly chasing more. Looking across the water, you finally understand that the most valuable asset you own isn't hidden in your bank account. It's hidden inside your calendar. Every day you control is worth more than another $1 million you don't actually need. As the months pass, you begin using your wealth differently. Not to impress people, but to quietly change lives. A family struggling with hospital bills suddenly receives anonymous help. A local school gets new computers from a donor who refuses to leave a name. Scholarships appear for students who are about to give up on their dreams. No cameras, no interviews, no social media posts announcing your generosity. You never wait for applause because you finally understand something that most people spend their entire lives chasing. Recognition feels good for a moment. Purpose lasts much longer. The money in your account becomes more meaningful when it starts creating opportunities for people you'll probably never meet. That's when wealth stops being a number and starts becoming a responsibility. Years pass, and your secret remains exactly where it began, with you. The world never discovers your fortune, and that's precisely why your life remains peaceful. You still enjoy simple mornings, quiet conversations, and ordinary moments that money could never replace. Looking back, you realize that the greatest decision you ever made wasn't earning $650 million. It was refusing to let that number define your identity. Because real wealth isn't measured by the size of your house, the logo on your car, or the watch on your wrist. Real wealth is waking up every morning knowing your happiness doesn't depend on proving anything to anyone. The richest person in the room is often the one nobody notices. They don't need attention because they've already found something far more valuable, freedom. And maybe that's the greatest financial lesson of all. Build a life so fulfilling that you no longer feel the need to convince the world you've succeeded. If this story changed the way you think about money, remember this: the goal isn't to look rich. The goal is to live free. If you enjoyed this cinematic journey into the psychology of wealth, subscribe for more stories that challenge the way you think about money, success, and freedom. Because the next financial decision you make could change the rest of your life.